Morning all, how are you doing? Let me get my mic a bit closer. There we go. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the BBC Spews on this glorious Tuesday, the 30th of November. That was almost a professional intro there, wasn't it? It's just fucking absolute dog shit, the BBC website. What are you paying for? If you're a licence fee payer, what are you paying for? When a random scrubber from Middlesbrough can basically tell you this like some sort of autistic savant and get it more right than the BBC. What are you paying them for? And that's not hyperbole on my part, is it? Right? You all know this. The reason I started doing YouTube a mere 2 years ago was because I'm a chippy northern wanker and I was sick and tired of being right all the time and not having any evidence of being right. So I thought, I know. Totally illogical. Yeah, my wife tells me this all the time. Needless need to be right. It's illogical, it's irrational. It must be because I'm from a long line of scurvy and peasantry and I don't like being told what to do by rich and middle class wankers who are wrong all the fucking time about everything and yet somehow feel as if they can put me down condescendingly. Like they hear your accent and they go, what does he know about life? And then they proceed to fuck up the entire world every year for 30 years. And they still think they can take one look at you, man in the street, and go, what does he know? You guys are fucking useless. Useless. You could just wear a blindfold, stick your fucking hand in a hatful of randomised policies, like, I don't know, chop them all up off, take the last 200 years of parliamentary history, put them into little sound bites, all the little fucking motions they've put through, and then like shuffle them up like Monopoly cards and pluck them out at random, and you do a better job of running the fucking cesspit that they've turned the Western world into than these fuckwits who think they can talk down to you. I mean, it's lunacy, right? Look at this one, headline today. I mean, first of all, at least talking about news, it's not welcome to the BBC, two black men daisy chaining across a fucking rainbow-coloured walkway in Manchester, headline news. I don't care. Look, ethnic minorities fisting each other over a park bench in fucking Shoreditch. Isn't this fucking grand? No, it's not. It's shit. It's shit. And I was pro-gay marriage in the 90s before it was cool. But that didn't mean I was cool with fucking gimps felching each other out across the road from a primary school, does it? Back when the world was sane, all it meant was you didn't think random strangers should be getting involved in people's private lives. Now it means if you don't openly advocate dry bumming in the middle of the fucking street, you're some sort of murderous fascist. Like, you couldn't make any of this shit up. It's comedy gold and it writes itself because we're living in fucking La La Land. However, went off on a tangent. Let's talk about this. This thing that people like Peter Hitchens and me, again, I'm not taking any credit for it, Peter Hitchens and me, because I jumped on the bandwagon when he was so obviously right 2 years ago. Everything he said's been prophetic, and all this stuff is shit I've been saying for months, if not years. Omicron variant found in Europe earlier than thought. Well, funny old fucking thing. Like, Christ on a bike. What did I say? Go back into my back catalogue and have a look. It was about 18 months ago. I was like, we know that the virus didn't get started in like fucking April 2019, was it? Because we knew that they identified travellers in Italy who had COVID in like December. So it was out for months and months. It was already global when the fucking morons in charge started saying, let's just lock everyone in their houses. Like, it was already global. We knew it months before they started banning flights. Months. So the whole fucking exercise was completely fucking pointless. And anybody who's ever read a broadsheet newspaper that's not left-wing knows it, because obviously they're just comics. You might as well read Ooh a fucking Wooly as The Guardian. But we knew. We knew, didn't we? We knew. It was around for months. November, December, something like that. And then we start putting in lockdowns in fucking April. Like, oh yeah, that's going to work. 5 months after it's been. And it's not like we don't have 1,000 flights a day because it's 2020. Well, it wasn't 2021 at the time. 2019, 2020. Yeah, we're quite a global people. Funny old fucking thing. It's absolutely moronic. And then here's the headline today, look. Omicron variant in Europe earlier than thought. Fucking hell. The powers that be like, oh, well, we never saw that coming. Well, anyone who's ever read anything in the last 2 years knew. Of course, anyway, let's read the story before I fucking get wound up. Omicron variant in the Netherlands earlier than thought. Well, blow me down. Wow. Shock. Fucking horror. As Paul Joseph Watson would say, imagine my shock. Imagine my shock. It was present in the Netherlands earlier than previously thought. Identified in 2 test samples taken between 19th and the 23rd of November, which is before the variant was first reported by South Africa. There you fucking go. Everything they do is pointless. It was before the variant was reported in South Africa. So as usual, the Africans get fucked again. Because that is blatantly what's gone on, right? All of this is public record now. Fauci is a fucking liar. Again, I'm not saying anything controversial. If Susan wants to fucking bang me, she can. Smoke my fucking pole, Susan. I'm just telling you some facts, right? He was going on television and lying because they got his emails and they leaked them. It was WikiLeaks, I think, or was it Operation fucking, I forget the other name of it. Anyway, the guy was going on TV and saying one thing, and the same day he was emailing his mates going, oh fuck, we did pay for gain and function research. They use that term to try and blind you with scientific fucking words that sound confusing to the layman in the street. Gain and function means paying for shit that viruses will mutate and go to other species, right? And he went on telly when Rand Paul was questioning him and went, no, never. You don't know what you're talking about. We did pay for fucking gain and function research. We did it. Everybody knows it. The reason the WHO and the governments of the world and all the leaders and the politicians are on side is because the Chinese are saying it. And the Chinese have got a shitload of money because the dopey twats that run the fucking Western world have been sending them all of our money and all of our manufacturing and all of our pharmaceuticals and have been stealing our IP. Basically, they've been bending us over a barrel and dry bumming us for the last fucking 30 years. And it's only a surprise to the elites and the people that write for the BBC, right? So when the Chinese say, deny, it definitely didn't come from a lab in Wuhan. Fuck it, probably come from America. The WHO will go, yeah, probably come from America. And the Americans and the EU and everybody else will go, oh, yeah, we don't want to be fucking rash. But then as soon as it fucking apparently, although we now know it didn't come from South Africa because it was identified in the Netherlands before it was fucking identified in South Africa. When that happens, we go, fuck Africa. I mean, hey, you can put me in with the African nationalists because you've got to agree with them, haven't you? It's all about money. Money makes the world go around. None of this is new. Again, this is fucking prime. I'm telling you, I could be 11 years old in primary school and I could see this fucking shit. It's so boring. It's the history of humanity since records were kept. We haven't got much on the Assyrians. Let's just start with the Egyptians and the Romans. What's always been the root of everything? Money. Again, is this a revelation? Am I bending reality and coming up with some really insane theories here? No. Money makes the world go round. You hear that when you're 5 and you sat on your granddad's knee. And it always has, and it always will, and it still does. And the Chinese are rich, so when they say, oh, fuck, it didn't come from China, everybody jumps to their fucking beat. Everybody, definitely didn't. But then when the poor old Africans say, oh yeah, we're in the shit here, lads, everyone goes, fuck yous. Because they're not getting, how much money has South Africa give to Joe Biden? How much money does South Africa give to Hunter Biden? How much art has South Africa bought off Hunter Biden for $400,000 a pop? How many donations has South Africa illicitly given to people like Anthony Fauci and the fucking WHO? None. But guess who is paying everybody? Because they're rich. Because we sent them, our leaders sent them all of our manufacturing capability and buy everything off them. Yes, the Chinese. The openly hostile fucking Chinese. And who do we care about? South Africa and Russia. Fuck me. I mean, how easy is it? There's a friend of my wife who's, how can I put this politely? A fucking idiot. Because she's a lefty. And she told me the other day, she was going on about some tirade about how someone was a right-wing conspiracy theorist saying that the garlic that comes in from China was altered. And she was like, oh yeah, do we even get that shit off China? Probably not, like Mexico. Did a quick Google. China. Nearly every fucking thing comes from China because our leaders sold us down the river. The Chinese own 95% of the American pharmaceutical fucking supplies. If they cut us off, we're fucked. Everything comes off from the Chinese. Our military ration packs probably come. I mean, there's another one, Paul. I haven't looked into it. We get everything off them. They own us, body and soul. They are so far up our arse, you don't know where China fucking ends and we start. They are rogering us senseless, I'm telling you. And it's not a conspiracy theory, just follow the money. They own everything, all of our manufacturing. 90% of the shit that we consume comes from China. Chinese playing money to Barbados? Yeah, I'm sure they are. Afghanistan. One of the reasons we're going to have ran out of Afghanistan as clumsily and as quickly as we did, it'll be China. Because who benefits? China. It's like Sherlock Holmes. Just ask yourself, who benefits? China. So who don't we talk about constantly? Fucking China. It's, the Russians. What, the Russians who've got a fucking less military might than Italy? Oh yeah, mega worried about them. Unbelievable. No notice, Susan, you twat. Yeah, Susan's proper got a fucking wide on for me at the moment, hasn't she? Susan's got a lob on. She's grew a 10-inch clitoris, a big spiky one, and she's ready to smash it up the angry Bootnecks. Fucking dirt box. I've definitely pissed her off with my constant rants. Seriously, my community posts used to get like 600 likes. Now it's like 12 people see them, and one's me and one's my missus. So yeah, Susan's raged. It's lunacy. Lunacy. Anyway, I'm going on a tirade. Let's just at least finish this story. It was previously thought that 2 flights that arrived from South Africa on Sunday had brought the first cases of the variant to the Netherlands. Not by fucking me, it wasn't. Not by me. Not by thee. Not by people who don't get all the news from CNN or The Guardian or the BBC. Anybody who doesn't get the news from those 3 sources was sitting there going, really? Really, we're doing this again? The same thing we've done for the last 2 years, constantly repeating the same shit time and time and time and time again, expecting different results somehow. I mean, really, how thick do you have to be? How thick do you have to be? You know, I've always said, when I was talking to Chris Thrall that time, and I was sort of disagreeing with him about the Illuminati and all the conspiracy stuff, because I was like, I never try and blame anything on malice when it can easily be explained by incompetence. But we're now starting to, I'm crossing the Rubicon slowly. I might not have crossed it, but I'm in there with a set of waders on, because it's got to the point where they can't just be as thick as mints. Like, there was a special needs kid in my school, and I would rather let him run the fucking show. And he had like a massive hearing aid and big braces and a sort of wonky face, and he couldn't talk properly, and massive clunky shoes that looked like fucking Robocop's boots. And I'd rather have him in charge, because they can't be this thick. Like, every time they go, fucking new variant, lock everything down. A few months later, oh yeah, that wasn't the start of it. Yeah, what are you going to do? Well, stop locking people down. Or peer-reviewed studies come in and they go, oh, look at this, masks don't really work very well. And they go, yeah, but we've already said so now, so fuck it. Everything they do is just fall down, get back up, do it again. Fall down, get back up, do it again. Fall down, get back up, do it again. How many times do you have to put your cock in the mains before you realise that it causes your pubes to burst into flames? Stop doing it. Stop doing it. Time and time and time and time again, they just rinse and repeat the same bollocks every fucking month for 2 years. Oh no, we need to have another lockdown quick. Oops, cases have gone up again. No fucking shit. It's lunacy. What a load of bollocks. And the other thing, look at this, according to the World Health Organization, who gives a monkey's fart? Who cares what that bunch of bent, overtly corrupt, bureaucratic fucking shitbags have to say about anything? Winnie the Pooh has already took each and every one of them out the back and give them a fucking good seeing to. So we don't care what the Who have to say. Again, the commies have ruined everything. No, like I've told you guys this before, if you get really into the weeds on this stuff, you have to be a bit of a boring bastard like me. But if you really get into the weeds on this stuff, they have taken everything. Everything that you used to think of as an institution, something that mattered. It's what made society work because people trusted institutions. They're all gone. 10 years ago, I liked the BBC. When I very first came to the United States, I used to say to people, oh man, compared to like CNN and Fox, the BBC is much better. It's not as biased. You know, now it's as dust. I would rather trust the ravings of a shit-covered madman with his fingers in his ears shrieking outside the bus station. He is more trusted than the BBC because at least amongst his endless tirades, his endless insane mumblings, you might one time somehow mishear him and actually think you heard something true. But the likes of, again, great institutions, the Washington Post, the New York Times, all the Pulitzer Prizes, all the fucking fame, all the things that they earned over decades of good, consistent, accurate journalism, as dust on the fucking wind. Worthless. The New York Times, again, do they think that the Angry Bootneck is like a dwarf and he just sprang from the earth, an Angry Bootneck? No. Angry Bootnecks are made, not created. 10 years ago, I was a tolerant liberal Bootneck. As illustrated in Dave's recent prize, which he messaged me he was pleased to receive. I was a fucking lefty. Whenever you hear anyone whinging about this stuff, they just want to write you off as a wingnut. Oh, it's crazy. It's a crazy right wingnut. Alt-right. Everyone's in the fucking alt-right. Have you ever met anyone who's in the fucking alt-right? Because I haven't. Every time I go out this house, here in California, where everyone's meant to be a lefty, all you meet is people who are talking shit about Joe Biden and Anthony Fauci and the fucking Who. They're not alt-right, because there's hardly anyone in the alt-right. They're not in the KKK. I live in Central California, for fuck's sake. I've never seen a single person in a triangle hat, ever. It's normal people who used to agree with you, Washington Post cunt, or you, BBC twat, or you, Guardian dipshit. The normal people who have a very high tolerance for bullshit, but you just manage to ding, just fill it. The endless well of stupidity and shit that comes out of your fucking mouths has turned normal people against you. Nobody's a Nazi. Nobody's a fascist. Nobody's alt-fucking right or KKK. I mean, seriously, KKK. How many people are in the KKK now? About 11 fucking people. And then they have the brass neck. I think I showed you guys the Twitter story I covered. To go on the fucking radio, NPR, and say, the biggest threat to our society now is white nationalists. So, oh, really? Yeah, really? They've just finished scraping children off the walls of the Manchester Evening News Arena, and you want to tell me with a straight face that the biggest threat is fucking neo-Nazis? Who the fuck... Have you ever seen a neo-Nazi? Because I fucking haven't. You don't walk down the street in Middlesbrough and you bump into teeming masses of skinheads with SWAT stickers on the fucking heads. It's Britain. That we fought the bastard Nazis. If there's one country that doesn't have much tolerance for Nazis due to the fact we physically stabbed them for 5 fucking years, it's the British. And then we import loads of people who following their Bronze Age fucking desert fables, and they kill children again and again and again and again and again. And again, not hyperbole. How many times did I say again there? Fucking loads of times. But is that hyperbole? No. Because I can reel them off. I don't have to try. Beslan, Nice, Charlie Hebdo, Bataclan, Paris, Brussels, London, Manchester. Again and again and again and again. And then you fucking get to the end of that wild and crazy ride. And we haven't even buried everyone. And they go, you know what we should be worrying about? Neo-Nazis. Where? Point me at the neo-Nazi who's blew 10 kids up in England. Point me at the neo-Nazi that's systematically tortured and groomed 500,000 fucking children. Show me the fucking money. And to preface this, before Owen Jones screen caps 30 seconds of this conversation, nobody is saying, I like to think I made the point clear when I was saying fighting them and stabbing them for 5 years. Nobody in this fucking chat is pro-Nazi. My point is, the British fought the Nazis harder and longer than anyone. For you to smear the British and call them a country of Nazis is upside down and back to front. It is living lunacy. We aren't Nazis. We fight Nazis. Thanks very much. Go take it up with the fucking Germans if you want to have a pop. But the simple fact is, look at the casualties, look at the prevented attacks, look at the MI5 and the MI6 statistics, look at the numbers, the hard, black and white, incontrovertible numbers, and tell me with a straight face that the biggest threat to God-fearing English men, women and children is white neo-Nazis, and I will tell you, you are a fucking raving lunatic. A raving lunatic. When those lads were stabbing people in the fucking, sliding their daggers between young women's kidneys on London Bridge, nobody was going, thank fuck it's not a neo-Nazi skinhead. When Safi and her friends got scattered across the Manchester Evening News Arena, nobody was going, phew, well at least this Libyan fucking suicide bomber wasn't a white guy who lives in his fucking mum's basement and talks about pure race all the time. Nobody was thinking that. London bombings, 9/11, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. As the towers fell down, they didn't go, well, at least it wasn't the KKK. Fuck it then. You have to be living in an alternative reality if you think that's the problem. Seriously. It's like being 400 fucking pounds rolling into the doctors on an electric scooter. I'm trying to do this on a rolly chair, so it might not work very well. Help me, doctor, help me. Ooh, you have got a problem. Oh, what's that? You've got a nasty zit on your cheek there. I'll have to get you some prescription face wash. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. There is an obvious, overt problem that is fucking us all, and the powers that be want to talk about the acne face wash. What about the fact that your heart is encased in lard, your legs look like upside down kebabs, and you can't walk without a fucking android assisting you? This is madness, ladies and gentlemen. This is madness. When did the world go mad? I do not understand it. So yeah, fuck this. Let's just not talk about it anymore. I'm sick of doing COVID. I enjoyed that little segue into rage more than I do reading this bollocks. It's fucking lunacy. Let's do this one. This is good. What's in store for El Chapo's wife? That wasn't the story I clicked in. Count me in. How the fuck do I get rid of it? Come on, Fox News. That's a bit... It's a bit weird. There we go. Refresh the page. That was some aggressive advertising going on there. Right. Let's look at this one. Because this is another good example. It leads on to what I was talking about. CNN roasted for tweets saying... I listened to this on Matt Walsh's podcast because I like Matt Walsh. He's a good American podcaster. Again, a little bit too far for me because where I always get off the bus with American Republicans when they keep going on about Jesus all the time. I've got no time for it. I think religion... You can't be as against one Bronze Age theology as I am and then take to another with gusto. Me, I'm a reluctant sort of agnostic atheist type with a healthy dose of respect for the church because I'm British. I basically have the same attitude that my forebears did, i.e. get christened because it's an excuse for a piss up, go to church when someone dies, and basically just sort of like the monarchy. Not passionate about it, but just leave it where it is. I like the churches, I like York Minster. I'm not really practicing, I don't care. So I'm happy to concede that if you're going to rank the religions of the world, you've got like Christianity, and then this is ranking them as by problems caused, yeah? Risk assessment. Christianity, Judaism, the other fucker, right? The other bastard. So that's where I am on religion. So they sort of lose me, the Americans, when they get a bit Bible thumpy on their own. So I'd give him 7 out of 10. He's got a great voice for radio. He's entertaining, but I don't like it when he starts calling things demonic all the time, like it's demons. It sort of sounds a bit fire and brimstone for me. But I like the bloke. As I said, and I'm sure his Sadwings will tell you, ultimately I'm probably a reluctant conservative, just like those lads on South Park I was talking about yesterday. But I listened to him talking about this, so I Googled it. It links to what I was talking about earlier. So, actually, you can't see the whole thing there. Let me move it. Oh no, let's move my fucking background. What a load of shit. There we go. CNN roasted for tweets saying Waukesha parade attack was caused by a car. I mean, seriously. Oh, you're on the Moretti? I'm passing a little Moretti, John. Get in. It says the CNN tweet places responsibility on the vehicle and makes no mention of the career criminal behind the wheel. True story, and I don't want to see that. All these little kids, man. Shocking. But, so there, look at that. It says CNN was the centre of intense backlash on Sunday over a tweet suggesting that the SUV involved in the Waukesha parade attack was responsible for the massacre. Darrell Brooks was charged with the intentional homicide after driving his SUV through a crowded street commemorating the holiday season, claiming 6 lives of those aged 8 to 81 and injuring dozens more. On Sunday, however, CNN appeared to place the responsibility on his vehicle, making no mention of the career criminal behind the wheel. Waukesha will hold a moment of silence today, marking 1 week since a car drove through a city Christmas parade, killing 6 people and injuring scores of others. The tweet reads, look at that. Just look at it. A car drove through a city Christmas parade. That's like saying, yeah, a cricket bat scored a 6. Or a rugby ball touched itself down for a try. That's not how it works. Unless it was a fucking robot car. Unless it was Johnny Cab. Remember on Total Recall? When he pulls up at the thing and he's like, take me anywhere. That I am not familiar with that destination. We had an officer in the Marines who looked just like the bloke from Johnny Cab. That was his nickname, Johnny Cab. We used to come in and we'd go, here's Johnny, but in Johnny Cab's voice. Yeah, a car. Unless it was a fucking Johnny Cab. It wasn't a car. It was a militant black nationalist who's been brainwashed by the communists who run the fucking world into having an irrational and all-consuming hatred for people based off the colour of the skin. That's who it was. A hater, a career criminal with a record as long as the Elephant Man's cock, driving on purpose through a parade because it was predominantly white people, killing women and children because CNN and the BBC and the Guardian and all of the other race hustlers in the MSM and some government people as well, like the fucking Squad, have encouraged outright overt hatred for white people. That's what that was. It wasn't Johnny Cab. It wasn't a self-driving Tesla. It was a militant, career criminal, black nationalist, murder, mass murder. So it's unbelievable. Critics tore into the Liberal outlet on social media. Yeah, no fucking shit. There he is. It wasn't Johnny Cab, it was him. Absolute fucking arseholes. Like the BBC with the grooming gangs. They'll only tell you about grooming gangs if the person that's doing the grooming was the right colour. Right? Like I said, Google BBC grooming. See what you get. It's like, oh look, here's a 20-year-old Adam Smith. What a wanker. There's no mention of 50 fucking blokes and 3 women systematically torturing and raping kids for 10 years. They don't want to talk about that. Because these people are mental. Absolutely mental. Consumed by their ideology. You can see it as well because it's everything they touch. Do you know what I had the misfortune of watching yesterday? I'm actually going to make a video about it, I think. When I get round to it, I'll make a video, I think. Because I haven't done a review for ages. Not since I did Captain America and the Winter Soldier a couple of months ago? If I get round to it, I'll do one. I'm obviously not as good at it as some people. The Critical Drinker, you guys pointed my, he's funny. Although it's cheating a bit when you put your voice through a synthesizer, doesn't it? It sort of sounds drunk, playing off that sort of youthful reverence for pissheads. Like, you know, young people think it's cool to be a pisshead. So he sort of runs his voice through a synthesizer, so he sounds like a drunk. Funny though, obviously he's a good writer, and he actually writes his stuff. He doesn't just talk complete shit like me. But I will do it, and I'm going to do a review of The Wheel of Time because it's probably one of my favourite books. Yet another one of these that I started when I was a kid and really got into it. And I've gone through the entire series now like 3 times. It's a fantastic book series. But because nowadays the loony left run the show, you can't get away from the political ideology. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It doesn't matter whether you're talking about the weather, the news, actual politics, sports, food and drink, anything, fashion, anything. It poisons everything they touch. So they've just made The Wheel of Time based off one of the best book series ever written. And I swear to God, you couldn't make it up how bad it is. Like, I don't want to go on about it too much because I'm going to make a video, but no Andrew Cooper, it is not good. Read the books, at least we'll always have the books. But the TV series is fucking unbelievable. Even to the point that, see, it would have been bad enough if they just ruined the law. Because what they've done is, if you read the Wheel of Time books, right, yeah, I'll tell you what's true about what's mad about that, Nurgle. It was written by a Mormon, and my dad, I don't know whether he cheated and Googled it, but I give him the books in like the late 90s, early 90s, like the first 4 or something. And he read them all, and he went, he's a fucking Mormon, him. And I didn't know, and I said, how do you know that? And he goes, because he's a fucking fanny rat, the lead character. He's got about fucking 5 wives. He said he's a Mormon, that cunt. So sure enough, I Googled it, and yeah, he is. He was a Mormon. However, I'll disagree with Nurgle's left tentacle. I'll also say, if you've got a name like that, you must be into Games Workshop, right? You'll enjoy the books. You can separate the artist from the art. John Lennon was an absolute fucking chopper, but I still like the Beatles. You know, that's just the way it is. The Cosby Show was funny. Doesn't mean I want to go for a drink with Bill Cosby, does it? But yeah, I'd recommend reading them. They're fucking good. But the TV show, All I'll say is they've totally fucked it up, made it woke, changed the races of all the characters, even though every race is represented in the Wheel of Time. For some reason, and this is what they've ruined. Like, and it's the same with how they'll ruin Lord of the Rings if they remake it. Because if you're really into fantasy books, the race is important because it explains the geography of the world that they live in. And every race is, one might even call it inclusive. Every race is included in the Wheel of Time. Quite clearly, Lan is Asian. I was talking to my mate about it yesterday. He was like, he could be Asian Oriental or Asian Indian or something, but quite clearly those guys are Asian. And then there's another race from across the sea called the Sen-Chan. And Matt Cawthon marries one of them, and they are black. And there are numerous references to this in the canon. There is the blacks are represented, the Asians are represented, everyone is represented. But for some reason, because the communists, they've made it like Manhattan in 2011. The people from Manetheren, Two Rivers, are all described at great length in the book, and they are white. So the black dudes live across on another continent, and the Asian dudes live on the other continent, and there's plenty of mixing goes on in the books, and they all meet each other. But they've just decided that the Sen-Chan, instead of being from a distant land, just went to Two Rivers and fucked everyone senseless. Because you can't move for random black blokes and Chinese women just wandering around in there. Like it's like a bus in Manhattan in 2021, and it kills the fictional world because you've got to buy into it. You've got to buy into the landscape and the continents and the peoples, and you've got to really get into it. And when you just turn it into modern New York City, it fucks it all up. It totally kills your sense of unreality. So you're just sitting there going, this is bollocks. And there's even a scene on it where a dark friend, who are like literally the most evil people in the fucking canon, starts telling them how cool she is with gay marriage. I shit you not. They go into the inn, and she's like, oh, I've got you a nice quiet room so you can bum your fucking boyfriend. And he's like, oh, no, we're not together. And they're sort of laughing and joking about it, like it's 2021. And she's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with blokes shagging each other. And he's like, no, of course not, but we aren't. I was like, what is this shit? At no point was it even suggested at any point in the Wheel of Time books, of which there's shitloads of them, no one ever suggested that Randall Thor was digging himself into fucking Matt Cawthon. None. Nobody says it. Have you ever tickled Matt's insides, Rand? Yeah, well, I've thought about it, because, LGBT plus Q. All lives matter. It doesn't fucking happen. It was cringe. What are you bringing up bumming for? Unbelievable. The only thing that could have got worse is the soundtrack. At least the soundtrack sounds like old-fashioned, Dungeons and Dragons, lutes and harps and shit. I was expecting George Michael to come on. Like Randall Thor's going to have a quick cheek-to-cheek dance with Matt Cawthon. Well, I guess it could be nice if I could. Then he's giving him a good scene to over the fucking benches in the fucking tavern. It's absolute drivel. So that's all I'll say for now on that. Or I'll ruin it. I won't be able to make a video about it because I'll just be fucking repeating myself. But yeah, don't watch it, read it. It's fucking criminally bad. Like everything they make nowadays, right? Like I said, we've killed the meritocracy. Probably directed by the sister of someone who was in Hollywood in the 90s, right? Talentless, charmless, useless, incompetent, but got there by blood or friendship. It's absolute horse shit, so don't watch it. All right? And yeah. Fucking drivel. Got anything else worth talking about on the BBC before I fuck off? Let's have a look at the UK. Booster offer for England. Again, what have we been saying for 2 years? Next jab will do it. Next jab will do it. Next jab will do it. Get your booster, then you can take your masks off. Fuck off. How many times have you moved the goalposts, fatty? Boris, fatty. Saggy albino jellyfish. How many times have you moved the goalposts? Why should anyone listen to you now? You said this 18 months ago. We just need to go into lockdown for 1 month. No, it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks to save the NHS. A month to save the NHS. 6 months to save the NHS. Just till the vaccine. Just till the second vaccine. Just till the booster. I'll tell you what, just take my foot out of your arsehole. Just do that. I've got no interest in anything Bojo and the living clown show in Downing Street has to say about anything. And if you've got any sense, neither will you. Like I said, listen to your granddad. Get sound advice off him. Because he can't talk any more shit than these people who are just demonstrably wrong every time they open their fucking pie holes. What a load of bollocks. When can I get my booster? Oh, please tell me when I can get it. It's fucking useless, isn't it? You told us it stopped transmission. It didn't. You told us it offered you protection. It fucking doesn't, apparently. All right, it offers you some protection. But you've just oversold it since the beginning, and now people have had enough. You promised that the vaccine was going to end all of our wars a year ago. And it hasn't. And people are still wearing masks. People are still being locked down. You're still banning flights from the poor old Africans. It's ridiculous. Christ, every page on the UK news, look, booster, masks, rules, Omicron, masks. Fuck me, look. There's your top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, top 6 stories. Booster, travel, Omicron, masks. Fucking hell. Change the record, please. And then you get, oh yeah, people haven't got power. Just a minor one there. People haven't got power. Just a minor thing. I'm not even clicking that one about Safi. Because that just makes me punch more holes in my fucking desk. I'm not doing it. Let's call it there, shall we? I've had enough. That's enough. I've shot my balls. I'm out of impotent rage for the day. All right. Thanks for watching. 45 minutes. That'll do yous. I'll be back tomorrow. I haven't got much on tomorrow, so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for checking it out. Like it and share it and all that bollocks. And I'd rather have a lemsip. Yeah, I'd rather cough me fucking lungs up. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. All right. Have a good evening, whatever you're up to, wherever you hail from. See you very soon. Take it easy.